Blake Lively might have just done herself in this battle with Justin Baldoni, although she didn't do it intentionally. It was something she said
long before she ever worked with Justin Baldoni.
Right, but there's something she said that has now been resurfaced, and it is right on the nose as far as what the issues are in her battle with Justin.
Really winning this war between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. The powerful smear machine is still going, but what's really crazy is this new person she hired. We got a lot to discuss.
Blake Lively's lawyer quickly made their exit after Justin Baldoni's team allegedly presented some unexpected evidence. Sources claim that as soon as Blake's legal team got wind of the proof Justin's side was about to reveal, they didn't hesitate to leave. Faster than Blake could say it ends with us. After all, no lawyer wants to stake their reputation on a case that's teetering on the edge.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit. It's all going to be based on evidence. It's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions, documents, which prove exactly what she did and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie.
Blake didn't just reportedly distort the facts in her lawsuit and misled the media. She even deceived her own lawyer, leaving them scrambling under intense pressure. But that's not all. Reports suggest she insulted her attorney, questioned their abilities, and even avoided paying them. It's hard to fathom how someone could treat the very person meant to defend them like that. Right? Now, let's dive into the drama. When Blake filed her controversial lawsuit against Justin, with major outlets like the New York Times seemingly supporting her, she probably thought she had it in the bag. Her lawyer, Meryl Koninski, likely believed the same, until Justin's team unveiled a mountain of evidence dismantling every single one of her claims. Public opinion quickly turned against Blake and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, shifting from admiration to outrage. But behind the scenes, things were even worse. And trust me, the chaos this case unleashed is something you won't believe. Koninski reportedly resigned when she realized the lawsuit was built on shaky ground and couldn't survive in court. But what truly pushed her to walk away? Allegedly, it was the way Blake treated her while she was trying to mount a defense.
Well, days ago, William Morris's CEO, Ari Emanuel, made it seem like a moral act of loyalty, like that exists in Hollywood. He heaped praise on Ryan and Blake as soulfully beautiful people, flawless, really. He mocked Baldoni in the process. He said, it's an effed up bad situation with what Baldoni, whatever his name is doing. Now, he said Lively and Reynolds are good people. They've been in the business for decades and have never had any bad press about them, and all the people that work with them like them. Okay, he must not have the internet.
By now, it's no secret, Blake has solidified her place as Hollywood's resident mean girl. For some reason, almost everyone she's worked with seems to have a bad or awkward story about her. Every resurfaced interview reveals a snarky remark or outright rude comment. And at this point, her career is starting to look like a collection of burnt bridges. When clips of Blake's behavior first started circulating, her team went into damage control mode. They tried to spin it with excuses like, "Oh, she just has a unique sense of humor that people misunderstand," or "She's actually really shy, and her jokes just don't land the way she intends." But let's be honest, you can only push that narrative for so long. Eventually, it became painfully clear that Blake isn't some misunderstood figure. She's a grown woman who seems to lack both self-awareness and emotional intelligence. And here's the reality. No one can keep that kind of behavior hidden forever. Sooner or later, the mask slips, and the world sees you for who you truly are.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got two nice ones.
They are kind of bumps, aren't they?
No, not bumps. The lovely lady lumps. Check it out.
Thank you. Thank you. You like the movie? Are you a Woody Allen fan?
I love most of his movies, and this one was so visually amazing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Did you guys love wearing those kind of clothes that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And working in digital.
Everyone wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
I would.
I mean, How do you even explain this? In an interview, Blake was asked how she'd like fans to approach her if they wanted to share their experiences with sexual assault and domestic violence, deep, personal topics they connected with through Lily's story in the film. And instead of responding with empathy, she cracked a joke about location sharing and got sarcastic. Seriously? That's what she chose to say in such a sensitive moment.
I'm going to start with you. Most of us, if we're lucky enough to run into a celebrity in public, we only have a few moments to maybe speak with you guys. But for people who see this movie, who relate to the topics of this movie on a deeply personal level, they're really going to want to talk to you. This movie is going to affect people, and they're going to want to tell you about their lives. So if someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
Like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you, and then we could I'm just curious about
social security number.
I'm a Virgo, so I'm like, are we talking logistics? Are we talking emotional?
Even her co-star couldn't hide their reaction, rolling their eyes and looking completely disgusted when Blake made that comment. But honestly, are we even surprised? This is the same person who openly called her co-stars monkeys and mocked Leon Meyer for being born in prison. Yes, you heard that right. During the Gossip Girl press tour, Blake shamelessly brought up Leighton's background and turned it into the punchline of her poorly delivered jokes. Classy, right?
An article recently saying that Leighton and I were frenemies, and it's
frenemies. Is that the new term, frenemies?
Yeah, we're friends, but we're also enemies, and it's really strange because they always want to pit women against each other. You don't hear about like Penn and Chase hating each other and being jealous and competitive.
I think I'm just brunette because of the books.
And everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway. A moment by me.
Remember Savannah.
It was another promise was no pet monkey. Yeah. Chuck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with a monkey. And then I got a few of them. I'm just kidding. Come on, it was a joke. Lord have mercy.
Your wardrobe?
That is important. Very good. It's very important.
This is wardrobe.
This is wardrobe. This was on the return rack. I think it was hers. So I had to go and like slip them cash to wear it today.
Blake bringing up Leighton's past wasn't the shocking part. Leighton had openly discussed being born in prison before. What was shocking was Blake acting like she had the right to turn it into a joke. And as it turns out, she had been treating Leighton poorly the entire time they worked together. Reports suggest there was serious tension on set, so much so that other cast members felt pressured to pick sides. On screen, Blake and Leighton played best friends, but off-screen, that friendship didn't exist. Some chalked it up to personality differences, Blake being the outgoing one while Leighton was more reserved. But if you watch their press interviews, it's clear there was way more to it than that. And Blake's mean girl behavior didn't stop there. On the set of It Ends With Us, she allegedly pressured cast members to take her side during conflicts and constantly tried to control the film's creative direction. Rumor has it, she even wanted Justin's director's chair for herself, going so far as to guilt-trip him or go behind his back to change the script. Then came the explosive lawsuit against Justin, and the red flags were immediate. One of the biggest, it seemed like Blake was pulling strings in the media to control the narrative. Take the New York Times, for example. Just hours after she filed the lawsuit, they published an article titled, "We Can Bury Anyone Inside a Hollywood Smear Machine." People couldn't help but side-eye Blake, because how else could they have read the lawsuit, fact-checked everything, written a full expose, and published it all in under 24 hours? The timing was just too convenient.
Justin Baldoni has spoken out against the New York Times in newly obtained court documents. And I read what happened, so you don't have to. Baldoni has stated that a jury must decide if the New York Times is responsible for its involvement with his ongoing legal battle against Blake Lively. In court documents filed on Friday, March 14th, Justin Baldoni has stated that the New York Times has long presumed itself beyond accountability, not here, and that the New York Times went past merely reporting. He then went on that the New York Times actively vouched for the veracity of its false narrative by publishing Blake Lively's complaint in full. and that the fair report privilege that the New York Times seeks to hide behind does not protect it from liability for maliciously colluding with Lively and her cohort to publish a false and defamatory hit piece about the Wayfarer parties, wrongly casting them as villains and making them scapegoats for Lively's well-publicized media missteps. The New York Times responded in a statement to us, stating that the flaws in the Wayfarer Baldoni case were made clear last week in their own legal filing when they asked the court for yet another opportunity to amend their complaint to try and make it legally sufficient.
Something about the New York Times article just didn't add up. It crossed multiple ethical lines in journalism, and if you've read it, you know it was blatantly biased against Justin. The way it was written, you'd think the case had already been tried and Justin had been found guilty, when in reality, the lawsuit had only been filed hours earlier. That's not just irresponsible journalism. That's actively fueling the same kind of smear campaign they were accusing Justin of running. And if that wasn't bad enough, in their rush to break the story first, the Times didn't even give Justin, his business partner Steve Sadovitz, or Wayfair Studios a chance to respond. At a certain point, bad faith journalism isn't just unethical, it's straight up sabotage. So, it's no surprise that Justin wasted no time firing back with a $400 million lawsuit against the New York Times, Blake, and Ryan, accusing them of publishing what he called a factory article designed to destroy his reputation. And let's be real, this article did have a devastating impact. Since it dropped before most people even knew about the lawsuit, it completely shaped public perception of Justin. It's like making an accusation and immediately broadcasting it across town before the accused can even respond. By the time they do, the damage is already done. And don't even get me started on Blake's shady behavior throughout this case. A lot of the so-called proof in her lawsuit was flimsy at best. Why did she redact key parts of the text messages she submitted as evidence? Why did her supposed HR complaints conveniently have missing dates and timestamps? It was giving. I'm only showing the parts that make me look good.
Let me ask you, what are the dates of these HR complaints? Do you know the dates?
There's no dates. The dates are redacted. The names of the complainants are redacted, except for on one of them, there's an M. And in Blake's original, when she went to Sony, and by the way, they're not to Wayfarer Studios, Justin's company, they're to Sony, the distributor, to their HR department, and there's an M in there, which means at least one of the other ones came around the same time. If it's May, unless it was March, but probably May, same time as Blake.
And wouldn't you know it? It didn't take long for Blake to get exposed. All Justin had to do was drop behind-the-scenes videos and screenshots of text messages. And just like that, her case started falling apart. And get this, Blake's team is now reportedly scrambling to get Justin and his lawyers in the same room to discuss a potential settlement. After all the chaos this legal battle has caused, whatever's left of Blake's legal team seems to have realized they are fighting a losing battle. Honestly, it's no surprise they're trying to settle quietly and keep everything under wraps. If you had to admit that your client had been twisting the truth and exaggerating facts from the very beginning, wouldn't you be looking for an exit strategy too?
I looked through every document, every email, every text message, listened to stories, listened to the history of what he's been through, listened to voice notes, and really try to evaluate, the strength of the defense of the case. And frankly, in this case, the strength of his claims. And like a lawyer is obligated to do, really want to make sure that I go through, as much as possible to really understand what exactly happened, or at least what it seems like happened.
But here's the twist. Justin's lawyer, Brian Friedman, isn't even considering a settlement. It's not on the table, not up for discussion, not even a remote possibility. And here's why. In a recent appearance on the Town podcast with Matthew Belloni, Friedman broke it all down. He explained that Blake's accusations haven't just damaged Justin's reputation and finances. They've taken a serious toll on his mental and emotional well-being, as well as his wife's and kids. He made it clear that this isn't just another Hollywood lawsuit that can be swept under the rug with a settlement. Too much is at stake, and the damage has already been done. Friedman even posed a powerful question. What amount of money could really make this go away? Can you even put a price on the harm Blake's allegations have caused Justin, his family, and his career? The only way Justin sees justice is by taking this fight to court. He wants a jury to hear both sides and decide for themselves who's telling the truth and who's using their power to run a smear campaign. At this point, the real shock would be if Blake's lawyer actually kept fighting this case. Even her own husband, Ryan Reynolds, seems to be jumping ship. He's reportedly asked to be removed from all lawsuits. Basically, he's saying, "This isn't my fight, so why am I in it?"
Brian Friedman rips into Ryan Reynolds and his motion to dismiss. I was waiting for Brian Friedman's response to Ryan Reynolds now wanting out of the lawsuit, and we finally got it. Friedman told TMZ Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues, this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case despite his publicly documented involvement extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse. Mr. Reynolds was a key player in the scheme, defaming Justin around Hollywood, strong-arming WME into dropping Justin as a client and trying to destroy Justin's career however possible. He goes on to say his fingerprints have been all over the smear campaign against Justin and the Wayfarer team since day one. Mr. Reynolds now attempts to reduce plainly cognizable names to hurt feelings, sending a clear message that bullying is acceptable. After lighting a match, Mr. Reynolds now seeks to run from the flames. It won't work. The Wayfarer party's claims against him are real and they are serious. Mr. Reynolds can appear on as many sketch shows as he wants and feebly try to make a light of his current situation, but we will not stop until he is held accountable for his actions. I love that Brian Friedman is not afraid to speak his mind, speak the truth, and I love how much he defends Justin Baldoni. Obviously, I know he's Justin's lawyer, he's getting paid probably really good money, but he really goes and fights for Justin. And I agree with every single word that he said.
But what do you think? Can Blake find another lawyer willing to take on her case? Or is this the end of the road for her legal battle against Justin? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to check out our next video.